This video is brought to you by Rewind Backups for Trello, the top-rated recovery app for Trello. Backups for Trello should really be the first power-up you add to your Trello account. Why? Because it will protect your boards from human error, buggy extensions, and collaborators who might not know what they're doing. You can think of it as an undo button for Trello. To learn more and unlock your special offer, head to rewind.com/Scott-Friesen. You can do almost anything you want within a Trello card, but only if you know what all of these buttons and every feature does within a card. So in this video, I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about every single Trello card, function, and feature. And let's get started at the very top, and we'll work our way all the way down to the bottom. First things first, if we need to change or edit the title, you can do so just by clicking your cursor here at the top. I know it doesn't look editable, but even if I'm way over here and click, I can change the name of this card. So I'm going to say new card, maybe for today. How about that? Something for this example. I can either hit enter on my keyboard or just click anywhere outside of that field. Now, just below the title of the card, it's going to show us where this card resides. So here at a glance, we can see it's in the list in progress. I don't need to close this card and see it over here. I can always see where each and every card is listed. But beyond that, you can see that this is actually a link. So if I click on this, we can actually move this card somewhere else. Now I can choose a different board as the destination. I can choose any list within the board that I select up here. And if I select something like my pending list, I can also change the position as to where it will be displayed. But in this example, I'm going to keep it in progress, which is also going to tell us here is the current list. I can either click outside or hit move. In this particular example, nothing's going to happen because we're keeping it right here. Now, the other place that you can access this little pop-up menu is over on the right-hand side under Actions. And if I click move here, you can see that we're presented with the exact same thing, but you don't have to come down here. You can always access this near the top of the card. Next up, we have our description field, and we're not going to take a lot of time here. You can basically input any text that you want. Maybe I want to add some notes, such as take a look at this website. Now, what's important to note is that you can include bullet points or links or almost anything that you want here. I'm going to paste in a website link right here. Now, when I hit save, what you'll notice is that it's going to take many of those links and actually convert it into the official name or how Google and other web browsers actually index that website. So you can see it no longer says simpletivity.com. It's actually using the title of that particular page. Now, if I click on this, it's going to take me directly to that website. But sometimes I may need to actually open up the description to see the full name of that website. So don't be confused if you see these types of links within your description. They're meant to be helpful. They're not always helpful, but you can always click on the description anywhere and see the actual link name right there. Now, down below the description, we have our custom fields. We're going to come back to this in just a moment because in order to edit the custom fields and create new ones, we're going to need to come over here on the right-hand side. But for now, just note that any custom fields that you add will be displayed directly below the description. And then at the very bottom of our screen, there may be some additional things that we add in between, including checklists and attachments. But at the very bottom, we are going to have our activity feed. Now, the activity feed is primarily used for comments. So if I want to add a comment, I can just click on this field and start typing away. I've got a few additional features here available to me, including the ability to record a Loom video. I can add an attachment from here and maybe mention that attachment. I can use the @ symbol or click this icon to mention someone else on this board directly, add an emoji, or even reference another card. And when I'm done typing in this comment, let's just put in the comment, I can hit save save down below. You'll see there's one other option available to us here, and that is a watch checkbox. So if I want to watch this card for updates, maybe I'm adding myself to a conversation or something here that I want to keep track of, I can select this checkbox and I'll be notified of other updates. I'm just going to hit save here, and now we've got our first comment down below. But you'll also see to the right of the activity title, there is a show details button. If we click this, we're not only going to see the comments, but we're also going to see what else has been done to this card. So I can see that I have deleted an attachment from this card about an hour ago, and then I deleted this image from this card about an hour ago as well. And we can see that as we make more changes and adjustments, you can keep track of what is happening with this particular card. Of course, if we don't want to see all of these details, we can select hide details, and then we will just be returned to view the comments here. Well, let's make our way over to the top of the right-hand side, and yes, we've got a number of buttons to go through, but this is going to make you so much more of an expert with using Trello and be able to use Trello cards in a variety of different ways. At the very top, we have something that's called suggested. Now, in this case, Trello is trying to predict what we might want to do next based on other behavior. So in this case, you can see that it is giving me a join button. You may not see a join button on your cards depending on your various boards and how you interact with Trello, but for this particular board and card, it thinks that, well, maybe I do want to join this board. So I can click this and immediately I am now a member of this board. Now I'm going to remove myself from this card, and you can see that that join still remains. If you do not want to view these suggested items, all you need to do is select this gear icon and say stop showing suggestions, and you will no longer receive these types of hints. However, they might be helpful because maybe there are certain things and you'd like to have them appear at the top of your card. Next, we have our Add to Card section, and there's a number of things in which we can add. The first one is members. So if I click on this button here, I can either search for a particular member, someone who has access or is a member of this board, or I can come down here and click on the members themselves, including myself. So I can either add myself, I could add multiple people, maybe I'll add my teammate here, and now you can see that they're going to be listed in this members section. Now that we have at least one person added to this card, you can see that we also have a plus button. So if I click this, we're going to see the exact same pop-up dialog where we can add further members. If I want to make adjustments to those who are already added, I can click on them and select remove from card. And now we don't have any members listed on this card. Next up is our labels, and here we can apply different colors, we can create new labels or adjust. We can hit this little stylus icon and edit the actual label name for any of our labels here. So maybe this card is a new project, I can select that. Maybe it applies to more than one label, I can do so here as well. When I'm done, all I need to do is hit X or click anywhere else on the card itself. The third option down is the ability to add a checklist, and this can be a very, very powerful function. If we select checklist, it's going to give us a default title just listed as checklist, but maybe I'm going to say something different. I'm going to call this a test checklist. Now, the importance of naming your Trello checklists is that you can create one checklist and then repurpose it or use it in other cards. So for example, I could copy items from some of the other checklists that I have used here in the past. Otherwise, if I want to start fresh, I can leave this as none and then select add. And here you can see below custom fields, I now have this test checklist, and you can start adding items directly. Now, I have another video which goes into Trello checklists in much more detail, including some of the special features and functions. But at this point, what you can do is just add your checklist items and or delete the checklist when you're finished, or perhaps you just made a mistake, and we're going to move on to our other features here within our Trello cards. Something that is very important when using Trello, or at least will enhance your use of Trello, is adding due dates. So if we select the dates option here, we're going to be presented with a miniature calendar. So maybe this particular task is due in about 4 weeks' time. I can select that date. I can choose a start date if I want to, but it is not a requirement. Lastly, I can specify the exact time if I want to as well, and I can also specify the due date reminder. This can be helpful to notify me enough time in advance depending on what this card represents. So maybe 1 day before is not enough. I'm going to select 2 days before and hit save. Now I will be notified of this due date 2 days prior to this time. Now, if I need to, I can always click on it and change that due date. And last but not least, maybe I've completed this card. Maybe I've completed this task. Here I can use this checkbox and it will mark it as complete. It will mark it as done. So a very effective way of managing your cards here within Trello. Below dates, we have the attachment button, and this is fairly straightforward. Many of us may want to go to our computer and we are going to select a file. Maybe I'm going to select this image here, and now I've uploaded this particular attachment to this card. Now, images such as this, we have the option to make a cover, which we'll get to in just a moment, but you can attach virtually any type of file that you like. If I select this attachment button once again, you can see we can also attach directly from some popular cloud services, including Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive. We can also paste in a link. So for example, maybe I want to go back and I'm going to paste in that link for that website, and I can give it a name. Maybe I'm going to call it website in this case, and I'm going to select attach. So now you can see that this latest attachment, this is this website link, appears above my last attachment, and it will always be displayed in this particular order. You can always comment directly on one of these attachments. You can choose to remove it, or you can choose to edit it. So for example, if I don't like the title of this website, if this isn't very descriptive, I can select edit and I can change the title down below. I'm going to just remove some of these attachments. I'm going to leave this one for just a moment here, just so we have some more room for our demonstration. Below attachment, we have location, and this can be very helpful if you are managing things that are directly related to an address or a geographic location. So for example, we can use this search bar just like we would in Google Maps. So for example, maybe I want to type in something like the Empire State Building. You will see a list of things that match that search here, or I could enter in a specific address. I'm going to select that, and now I'm presented with a miniature map right here within my card. Now, you can expand this if we click on this option here, but this is especially helpful for realtors or people who are doing service calls, or maybe you need to go out and manage different properties or buildings. You can keep that information here and have direct access to Google Maps. If I want to remove it or change the location, all I need to do is select these 3 dots here. I'm going to select remove in this particular case, and now that location is gone. Now, we've talked a little bit about this cover button already, because you can see here with the attachment we uploaded earlier, we can actually make this image a cover, but we have many more options available to us. So for example, if I select this cover button, first of all, we have the choice of what type of cover do we want to display. Now you can see these two options are actually grayed out because we haven't selected a color, an attachment, or some other image listed below. So maybe I want to use a color instead of something that I've attached. Maybe I want this card to stand out. I'm going to select this red color here, and I'll leave it at this default, this first cover choice here. What I can do is you can see that we now have this bright red cover at the top of the card, but if we close the card, this card is now listed bright red here as well. Let me just move it over to my in progress. I had a rule set up for this particular card that anything that was completed should automatically move to this stage over here as a part of automation. But I'm going to move it back here just for our example. So here you can see this card really stands out because it's got this red solid bar at the top. But we can make it stand out even more. Once a cover is applied, you can see that that cover button no longer exists on the right-hand side, but now we come up here to the right and select cover. I could choose this second option, which is not going to change anything when we have the card open, but if we go back to the board view, now we can see the entire card is shaded in this red color. So this can be a great way to make certain things stand out. Now, we're not limited to color. I could go here and choose this image, for example, the thing that we uploaded before. Now, if I leave it in this state, this might be a little distracting, especially for the text that I have on it. So what is more common is using this left one here, where we can still see the image, but we can see all of the card details when we're viewing it at the board view. But again, you don't have to have a cover at all. And if you want to choose to remove it, just select Remove Cover here. The attachment remains the same, but we will no longer have that color shade at the top or at the board level view. Our last option here under Add to Card is Custom Fields. And you can see in this example, I've actually already added a few custom fields. Here is a time duration where I can input a number, and here is a custom drop-down in which I can add. Custom fields can be so powerful and really help you to customize your boards for your specific needs. So if I select custom fields, I can either manage my existing custom fields or I can add a new one. So here I'm going to select a new one. Let's leave it as a checkbox, and maybe I just want something that says paid or unpaid. I can choose if I want to show this on the front of the card or not by toggling this option and then select Create. Here you can see now I have this paid checkbox, which I can either check or uncheck, letting me know if this client or this project or whatever this card represents is paid. Now, if you want to rearrange the order of your custom fields, you can't do it here, but you can do it from the Custom Fields button. All we need to do is come to the left-hand side of the field that we'd like to move and click and drag, and I can move this paid checkbox to the front position. So now you can see this paid checkbox will be listed first. Now, keep in mind, the more custom fields you add, the more layers and the more rows that will appear down below. So you want to be mindful of how many custom fields are necessary and in what order you would like them to be displayed. Now, the next two options here, we're not going to spend an awful lot of time on, but if you want to add a power-up, you can quickly and easily get to your power-up menu by selecting the plus power-up option. If we close that menu, we will be brought back directly here to the card, and this is where your power-ups will be listed as well if you need to access further options. The same is with automation. If you want to create your own rules, you can do so here by creating a custom automation button, or you can choose to add one from a pre-existing template, which is listed right here. That now brings us to the last part of our card, and that is the actions section. Now, many of these are straightforward. We already talked about the move button. By selecting this, we can move this card to anywhere else that we want. The copy option will allow us to take everything on this card and copy it into a brand new card. We can change the title, and we can choose if we want to keep some of the things that already exist here, or we could maybe, for example, uncheck the comments if we want that new card to have no comments at all. Lastly, we can select Create Card if we're happy with our selections here and create that copied card. I'm just going to hit X on this particular example and move on to our template option. Now, this is a very powerful feature here within Trello if you are needing to use many of the same features, attachments, checklists, labels, but then would like to expand on them. So for example, maybe I want to create a card which I already have some particular details, including links, maybe links to a particular form or document, and maybe even some of the individuals that I want to be attached to this card. Well, what I can do is make this card a template where you will now see this checkbox here beside the button, but you will also see see this new header at the top telling me that this is a template card. Now I can create new cards based off of this template and only have to manage this template going forward. So this can be a great way to save time and give you a little bit of a head start with creating those new cards. If you want to change or deactivate the template, you can simply select this button, and now this card is no longer available as a template option. Below that, we have the watch button, which allows us to get notifications when something changes on this card. Now, by default, when you join a card, so let me go back up here and I'm going to join this card, you will see that by default, I'm going to automatically be watching this card. And that just makes sense, right? If I'm a member of this card, I probably want to see all of the updates and changes that happen on this card. But I could come down here and unwatch this card even if I am a member. So maybe I'm not the owner of this card or responsible for its outcome, but I'd still like to keep tabs on what is happening with it. In this case, I'm not going to add myself as a member. I'm not going to join this card. I'm going to come down and select watch. And now I will be notified of things that happen on this particular card. You can also see at the very top of your screen, we have this little eyeball icon letting me know that I am watching this card. Next up, we have our archive button. So if we do not want to see this card on this particular board, but perhaps we still want to be able to access it or search it in the future, we can select to archive it instead. Immediately, it will be archived, and at the top of the card, you can see that it is telling us that this card is archived, and the button now changes to send to board. So if I'd like to return it to this board, I can select this option, and now we're back in our original state. You'll also notice that once you archive a card, you now have the option to delete this card. It's sort of a two-step process if you want to delete this particular card. And that's for safety measures, just to make sure that you want to go through with the deletion process. I'm going to say send back to board. And lastly, we're going to come down to our share button, which is also going to give you a quicker way to delete your card if you need to. Now, by selecting share, there's a number of things here that we can choose. We can choose to print this card. We can export this card. We can also get a link to this card. If you want to send a link to someone else and make sure they come directly to this card, you can share this link as well. Keep in mind, your existing permissions will be in place, so if they don't have access to this board, they will not be able to access this card. We can even display a QR code, and if you'd like to download it and use it for marketing purposes or however else you are using your Trello boards. Next up, we can embed this card by copying in this code, or we can use this unique email address if we want to send comments directly to this card. Yes, every single Trello card comes with a unique email address, so if you need to email content and comments directly into it, you can do so here as well. Lastly, if you want a faster way to delete your card, you can open up Share and directly select the delete link here. This is going to prompt us, are you sure that I want to delete it? But in this case, we don't have to hit archive first in order to get to this delete step. This video was made possible by my friends at Rewind, the #1 backup and recovery solution for Trello. Listen, mistakes happen, but you can recover from small errors all the way to major catastrophes in no time with backups for Trello. Feel confident working in Trello independently or with a large team. For more information about protecting your boards and to unlock your special offer, head to rewind.com/Scott-Friesen.